What kind of training is best for your project? When you're involved in a project, it's usually a good idea to have some kind of training in it, whether you're training the people who are inside the project or people who will be using the product that your project creates. Either way, training is probably a good idea, but it can be a little confusing as to what kind of training is best for you. Sometimes we get tunnel vision. We either start convincing ourselves that this is the perfect kind of training and no other needs to be considered, or we don't really know what the options are for training, and so it's hard to consider which one might be best for us. Fortunately, a training consultant can help you navigate the best options. The first thing we're going to start with is your goal. And we can think about this in a couple of ways. The first is to think about what purpose your project serves. What kind of pain does it solve? What kind of behaviors will it change? And what processes is it going to improve? A really useful question to ask, especially about training at this point, is what have you tried along these lines already? That might reveal some interesting options that we could follow up on or cut away stuff that we already know doesn't work. Another way to think about it is to ask what else has to change for your project to succeed. People are probably going to have to learn new skills, or make new choices, or have new options as they do their work, or they'll just need new knowledge to inform them about the changes that you made. Put these things together and you're starting to figure out the goals, not only of your project but of the training. But there's more to it than that. We also need to ask what we're going to measure from the beginning of the training to the end of the training. So what's measurably going to change? How are you going to show that the project had an effect or that the training had an effect? How are you going to justify the money? When you've got a way to tell that you succeeded, that's going to be part of the development of the training to get you to that point. So the questions that a training consultant is going to ask you are about both the goals and the metrics, and these are going to help figure out what's going to come next, which is the training proposal. The training proposal is just a document. It's a simple little piece of paper that shows who's involved, what the background of the project is, and what the initial recommendations are going to be based on your goals and your metrics. This is a simple, informal agreement that your training consultant has agreed to work with you on developing the training based on a set of understandings. Out of this also comes the process that your training consultant is going to go through with you in order to build the training that you need. We're also going to have a proposed timeline, and that can either be an estimated set of timelines or milestones, or it can be a hard and fast deadline that has to be met. We prefer milestones, of course, but proposed timelines help us take into account how much time we really need to spend building this thing and when we need to have it done by. So this is what a training consultant is going to help you figure out, but that's just the start. There are some more options to be figured out, and this is where your training consultant is really going to help you out. You might have questions about what the best training options are and which will fulfill your goals based on the metrics that you've decided to measure. Here are a couple of options that your training consultant might give you. There might be a possibility for open labs and workshops where people get together and either simulate the kind of work that you're going to have them do, or they get their hands on the tools that you're developing in your project. A simple set of job aids might be a good solution, so printouts with simple step-by-step diagrams of where to click and what to do, or videos that show the actual project in action. EOD might already offer classes that have to do indirectly with some of the things that your project is trying to accomplish, so taking a look at the EOD class schedule might be useful. This is also good for team training if you're hoping to focus the effectiveness of your project team a little bit better. Your training consultant might also offer other metrics of success to help you demonstrate the effectiveness of the project and the training that went into it. All of this actually comes together after the training proposal. Your training consultant's job is to help work through these options and figure out the ones that will work best for your metrics and your goals. When you put this all together, your training consultant is ultimately helping you put together quality outcomes that will help you reach your project's goals.